Hello, passionate Celtic FC fans. This is Celtic Central News, your exclusive source for Celtic updates. Before we kick off, we appreciate the incredible support. If you love Celtic, subscribe now, hit like, and let's build this community together. Now, on to the latest news. A warm welcome to new subscribers. Your support is crucial. Hail! Hail! The rumour mill has been spinning like a whirlpool, and the latest whisper coming out of the Scottish game is that Celtic might be about to pull off a sneaky, exciting signing. Word is that Juan Viaava, the Uruguayan winger, who has been turning heads down in South America, is on the brink of being snapped up. Now, before anyone starts thinking this is just another bit of transfer noise, the chatter is coming from sources who usually don't talk unless there's something real behind it. The big attraction? His sheer pace. People are saying he's got the kind of acceleration that makes defenders look like they're stuck in treacle, and Celtic's wings have been crying out for that sort of speed for a while. The idea is that he could come in and bring a fresh dimension, especially against teams that sit deep and invite pressure. With his low center of gravity and quick feet, he's supposedly the sort of player who can burst past a fullback and then either cut inside or deliver a dangerous cross. In a league where games can be decided by one moment of brilliance, a winger with that kind of raw pace could be a proper weapon. The question is whether Celtic's coaching staff believe he's ready to handle the physicality and intensity of Scottish football, but the rumour suggests they're intrigued enough to take a gamble. Now, if this is true, it would fit a pattern we've seen recently with Celtic, a willingness to look beyond the obvious markets and take chances on young talent from South America. Viaava's profile is interesting because he's not the type of player who comes with huge hype and a massive price tag, which means Celtic could potentially bring him in without overpaying or creating a big media circus. That's the sort of move that can work beautifully when the player is hungry and the club is structured properly. The rumor is that he's not just fast, but also intelligent in his movement, which is crucial in a league where space is often tight and opportunities are rare. If he can time his runs and exploit half a yard, he could become a nightmare for opposing fullbacks. There's also talk that he's comfortable playing on either flank, which would give Celtic tactical flexibility. Imagine him on the right, cutting inside onto his stronger foot, or on the left, hugging the touchline and whipping crosses in. Either way, his speed would force defenders to respect him, and that could open up space for the likes of the central attackers. Of course, this is still speculation, but the fact that his name is being linked so strongly suggests Celtic have at least put him on their radar. The key question, as always with young South American wingers, is whether he can adapt to the tempo and physical demands of Scottish football. The Scottish Premiership is a league where the ball is often played quickly and opponents don't give you much time to think. Viaava would need to show that he can handle pressure from bigger, stronger defenders and still make good decisions. The rumour suggests Celtic scouts have watched him closely and believe he has the mental toughness to cope. He's not the type who just relies on speed. He's said to have a willingness to work hard off the ball and track back when needed. That sort of discipline is what can turn a promising winger into a proper asset. Celtic's fans will also want to see that he can deliver end product, goals, assists, or at least creating chances. Speed alone won't be enough if he can't pick the right pass or finish when the moment comes, but the whispers are that he's shown flashes of brilliance in his current club and that he could be a steal if Celtic managed to bring him in before other clubs catch on. One of the most interesting aspects of this rumour is the timing. Celtic have been looking to refresh their squad in certain areas, and the wide positions have been an ongoing topic of discussion. The club has a history of bringing in young, hungry players and letting them develop under the pressure of big expectations. Viaava, if he comes, would likely be seen as a project, but also someone who could contribute sooner rather than later. There's also the matter of how he fits into the style of play. Celtic's football is often built around quick transitions and attacking with intensity, and a winger who can sprint past opponents and deliver dangerous balls into the box fits that template perfectly. The rumours also suggest he could be used in a way that maximizes his strengths: quick bursts, one-on-one situations, and getting to the byline to create chaos. It would be fascinating to see how the coaching team plans to integrate him, especially if they believe he can be the kind of player who changes games. The speculation is that he could become a key piece in Celtic's attacking puzzle, particularly in matches where they need to break down a stubborn defense. Of course, there's always the risk that a player with raw speed may struggle with the tactical side of the game. Celtic's system demands not only pace but also awareness and discipline. The rumours indicate that Viaava is seen as a player who is still developing tactically, which is why the move would be seen as a calculated gamble rather than a guaranteed success. The hope would be that the coaching staff can mould him into a more complete winger. The club's medical team would also have a key role to play, as fast players often carry the risk of injuries, especially when they're asked to perform at a higher intensity. If Celtic are indeed pursuing him, they'll likely have done their due diligence. They would want to ensure he has the physical resilience to handle the demands of training and match play. It's also possible that he might be eased in gradually, perhaps featuring more in cup competitions or coming off the bench until he adapts. That would be a smart approach, as it reduces pressure and allows him to learn the league at his own pace. Finally, the rumour has sparked a lot of debate among fans because the idea of a young Uruguayan winger joining Celtic is exciting, but it also raises questions about the club's transfer strategy. Some supporters will want big-name signings and immediate impact, while others will appreciate the potential of discovering a hidden gem. If Viaava does arrive, he would represent a different kind of investment, either one that could pay off massively if he develops as expected. The speculation is that Celtic might be looking for a player who can become a long-term asset rather than a quick fix, and in a way that fits the club's identity: building a strong squad, nurturing talent, and maintaining a high level of competitiveness. The whispers are still swirling, but if this transfer does happen, it could be one of those moves that people look back on and say, that was the moment Celtic found their next breakout star. For now, it remains a rumour, but it's a rumour with enough substance to keep the fans talking. So, what would this mean for Celtic's squad if it turns out to be true? Well, the most immediate impact would be on the wings, where competition for places is always fierce. A player like Viaava could force existing wingers to raise their game, and that kind of internal competition can be healthy. It could also give the manager more tactical options, allowing him to rotate players and keep the squad fresh. The rumour suggests that Viaava could also be used as a super sub, someone who comes on late in games and uses his speed to exploit tired defenders. That's a valuable asset in a league where games can be won or lost in the final minutes. Beyond that, it would signal that Celtic are continuing to look globally for talent and not just sticking to the same markets. That's important for maintaining a competitive edge, especially when other clubs are also searching for young, exciting players. If Viaava is brought in, it would be a statement that Celtic are willing to take risks and invest in potential. The fans would be watching closely, waiting to see if this rumor becomes reality. The question of whether Viaava can truly become a Celtic player also depends on how well he adapts off the pitch. Moving to Scotland from South America is a big cultural shift, and players often need time to settle. The rumor is that Celtic would provide a supportive environment with staff to help him adjust to life in a new country. That's crucial because a player who is comfortable off the pitch is more likely to perform well on it. There's also the matter of language, weather, and the intensity of the Scottish fan base, which can be both inspiring and demanding. If Viaava can handle that pressure and remain focused, he could thrive. The speculation is that he has the temperament to cope, which is why the club might be considering him seriously. A player with his speed and skill could become a fan favorite quickly if he delivers the kind of moments that get supporters out of their seats. It's those flashes of brilliance that can turn a rumor into a legend. In the end, this rumor is the kind of story that keeps football interesting. It's not just about the transfer itself, but about the possibilities it creates. If Celtic do bring in Viaava, it would be a sign of ambition and a willingness to take calculated risks. It would also be a reminder that football is always evolving and that new talents can emerge from unexpected places. The whispers suggest that this could be a move that surprises many people, but those who follow South American football closely might not be so shocked. Viaava's speed is the headline, but his potential is the real story. Whether he becomes a Celtic star or not remains to be seen, but the rumor is enough to spark excitement and debate. And in a sport where dreams and reality often collide, that's exactly the kind of speculation that keeps fans talking long after the rumors have died down. The idea of Juan Viaava arriving at Celtic has another layer that makes it even more intriguing. The potential shift in how the team approaches their attacking play. If the whispers are true, he might not be brought in just to fill a position, but to add a completely different pace to the team's transition game. Celtic have often relied on quick passes and movement, but adding a winger with explosive acceleration could change the dynamic entirely. Imagine counterattacks where Viaava is already a few steps ahead of the defense before the ball even reaches him. That kind of threat forces opponents to rethink their whole defensive shape. Suddenly, fullbacks would have to be cautious, and midfielders would be dragged out of position just to try to contain him. That opens up space in the center, which could benefit Celtic's playmakers and forwards. The speculation is that Celtic might be looking for that kind of unpredictability, especially in tight games where they need a moment of individual brilliance to break the deadlock. It's the sort of signing that could make the team feel more dangerous in a way that's hard to quantify, because speed is one of those attributes that changes the entire tempo of a match. But there's also the question of how Viaava would fit into the club's culture. Celtic fans are famously passionate, and they demand commitment. They don't just want a player who can run fast, they want someone who will give everything for the shirt. The rumor suggests that Viaava has the kind of hunger that could win over supporters quickly. He's still young and hungry, which means he might be more willing to embrace the pressure rather than shy away from it. That's important because Celtic is a club where every match feels like a big one and the expectation is always high. If he can show the right attitude in training and games, the fans will warm to him. The speculation is that he has the personality to handle the scrutiny, which is not always the case with South American youngsters. And some players struggle with the intensity, but others thrive and become the kind of heroes that fans remember for years. If Viaava can adapt and show that he's not just fast, but also committed, the rumor could turn into one of those signings that people look back on as a turning point. Before we proceed, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to receive all exclusive news about Celtic FC. Don't miss any details about your favorite team. It's extremely important for Celtic FC fans. The transfer talk also raises the issue of competition in the squad. If Viaava arrives, it would likely mean that some existing players would have to step up or risk losing their place. That can be healthy, but it can also create tension if not managed well. The speculation is that Celtic's coaching staff are confident in their ability to integrate a new winger without destabilizing the group. They've done it before with young players, bringing them in and letting them develop while still maintaining harmony in the squad. It's a delicate balance, but it's possible if the player has the right mindset. Viaava's potential presence could also push the team to play with more width and speed, which might change the way Celtic approach certain games. It could also provide the manager with more options for rotating the squad, especially in a busy schedule. The rumor suggests that the club sees him as someone who can contribute immediately, but also grow into a bigger role over time. That's the kind of player Celtic need if they want to stay ahead of rivals who are constantly trying to catch up. Of course, there's also the financial angle. Celtic are a club that needs to be smart with their spending, and signing a player like Viaava would likely be seen as a savvy move if the price is right. The rumor is that he could come in at a cost that wouldn't break the bank, which would make the risk far more manageable. It's the kind of transfer that can yield huge rewards if the player develops, and even if he doesn't become a superstar, he could still provide valuable depth. That's the type of calculated gamble that clubs like Celtic have to take if they want to remain competitive without overspending. The speculation is that the club's recruitment team have identified him as someone with the right attributes and potential upside. It's also possible that Celtic could view him as a player they could develop and later sell for a profit, which is a model that has worked well for many clubs. The idea of finding a hidden gem in South America is always appealing, and if Viaava turns out to be that gem, Celtic could be celebrating a masterstroke. Another aspect of this rumor is the possible impact on Celtic's style in Europe. Scottish football is one thing, but European competitions are a different beast. Teams are often more disciplined and compact, and breaking them down requires creativity and pace. If Viaava has the speed and technical ability the rumors suggest, he could be the kind of player who changes the way Celtic look in those matches. He could be the spark that gives the team an edge when facing defensive, organized opponents. The speculation is that his presence could allow Celtic to play more direct and vertical football, which can be effective in Europe. He could also be the player who drags defenders out of position, creating space for teammates to exploit. That kind of impact isn't always visible in statistics, but it can be felt by opponents. The rumor suggests that Celtic might be considering him as a player who can raise their level in those big matches, which would be a huge statement. Hello, fan. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as it means a lot to Celtic FC. Also, share your opinion about the news in the comments below. See you in the next video.